So you're stuck between choosing NordVPN and Surfshark, and wow, I really get it. I mean, they look basically the same, right? They have rock-solid security, they have super cheap prices, and both unblock Netflix. But here's the thing. After weeks of hardcore testing, I found some massive differences. And differences that, in my opinion, actually matter. But, plot twist, they're both owned by the same parent company. Nord Security owns them both. But in my experience, they feel like completely different products. So the bottom line here for you guys, if you don't want to watch the whole video and you just want to decide on one VPN provider, NordVPN wins in my book. I know, Surfshark looks tempting with those unlimited connections and low prices, but when I actually sat down and tested what matters, and I mean consistent performance, verified security, and most of all, reliable streaming, NordVPN delivered, and, well, Surfshark didn't. Let me show you exactly why. First things first, which VPN has better features? Let's start with the so-called kill switches. NordVPN has two types. There's a system level and an application level kill switch. The system level blocks literally everything if the VPN drops. An application level only disconnects and closes specific apps. By comparison, Surfshark only offers a system-wide kill switch. And let me show you why this matters. Here, I'll set up Chrome to disconnect if the VPN drops. Then I'll deliberately kill the VPN connection like so. And look, Chrome shuts down instantly. My other apps kept working, and that's the control power users need. I just wish that Chrome restarted automatically when I reconnected. Then this feature would truly be next level. Another cool feature of NordVPN is the specialized servers. You can see them right here in the server menu. Onion over VPN? Well, I tested it and it worked perfectly. All I had to do was connect like so, and then verify that I was routing through Tor with the Tor project's check tool. Worked just perfectly. Double VPN is there too, but you're essentially stuck with their routes. As you can see, I connected to France via the UK. It worked, but I couldn't create like custom paths. Personally, I find that pretty limiting, but let me know in the comments if that's something you really care about. And if you do care, then Surfshark's multi-hop is better than NordVPN's double VPN. Why? Well, you can create custom server pairs. I set up France via the UK. Then I checked my IP, and it showed the French exit node. Perfect. NordVPN's pre-configured routes feel limited by comparison. For the peer-to-peer servers, I fired up my torrent client. First, I connected to a regular NordVPN server in Bulgaria and downloaded a test file. The speeds were, they were pretty fast, but the connection, it just kept dropping. Annoying to say the least. So I switched to a dedicated peer-to-peer server, also located in Bulgaria, and speeds dropped a bit, but here's the thing. 0 disconnects. And for torrenting, that reliability matters much more than raw speeds. And finally, we have obfuscated servers. They're essentially a stealth option. They disguise your VPN traffic as regular HTTPS traffic. It's very useful if you're like on networks that specifically block VPNs, like universities, hotels, restrictive countries. And I tested this on a network that normally kills VPN connections, and traffic went straight through. So when I checked Wireshark, I could see a few packets still leaked through. It's not perfect obfuscation, but it's certainly good enough to bypass basic VPN blocking. Okay, malware protection. And this is where NordVPN stumbled hard. The site blocking works great. I accessed test malware sites from Ycar. I got this big NordVPN warning screen you can see right here. I'm going to put it on screen. And the sites were blocked. Well, perfect. But the download scanning, oof, completely failed. I downloaded the iCar test virus, and this is literally designed for testing antiviruses. Every security tool literally catches it, and NordVPN let it through. I ran this test 5 times. It failed every single time. I don't know why, but it's certainly not good. Surfshark also let the iCar virus download, only caught it essentially when I manually ran a scan on the zip file. And in my book, that's not protection. That's a little bit of a reactive scanning, which we don't want. And even worse, it completely failed the iCar tests. So just let me access malicious sites. No warning, no blocking. It's really unacceptable here. I tested ad blocking using this ad block tester from TurtleCute, and NordVPN blocked 99 ads and let 36 through out of 135 in total. And that's pretty decent, but it's also not perfect. So it's, let's say, like an 80% rating here. Even so, Surfshark performed worse. Surfshark blocked 89 ads and let 47 through. Surfshark's standout feature is obviously the unlimited connections, right? NordVPN limits you to 10 devices at a time, but with Surfshark, you can get the whole family connected on the same plan. Yes, I know what you're saying. I can also install NordVPN on a router, and then I can connect unlimited devices. Yes, you can, but it's still kind of an advanced step that maybe power users might use. But if you're just like the average Joe wanting to connect to Netflix and want to connect your family, then it's a bit more complicated. So you could even invite the neighbors if you're like feeling very generous that they can share the VPN connection with you. And there's also some pretty cool identity tools I want to show you. Now here is Surfshark's alternative ID generator, which is just awesome. I just clicked generate like this, and as you can see, a complete Australian identity. Name, address, birthday, all valid. I can even edit it manually. I mean, this is legitimately useful if you need throwaway identities. Do you want an alternative email? It's the same deal here. I generated a forwarding address, I obviously tested it, and emails came through to my real inbox. It is super useful for signing up to potentially dodgy sites, or if you know that they're going to send you a lot of newsletters that you don't want, or marketing emails, so you can just disable this, and your main inbox is finally free from spam. And finally, Surfshark's rotating IPs is really clever. It changes your IP periodically, even on the same server. I checked my IP like this, then waited like half an hour, and I checked again, and boom, you can see. It's just a different address. It's probably not the most important feature in the grand scheme of things, but it is a nice extra privacy layer if you're worried about someone tracking your VPN traffic. And before I wrap up the features, I really want to show you MeshNet. This feature alone might justify NordVPN for you. It's a peer-to-peer file sharing tool across your devices. And during my testing, this thing, it just worked. And here's how simple it is. On desktop, I right-click a file, select Send with NordVPN MeshNet, pick my phone from the list, and done. The file transfers directly. There is no cloud upload, there's no email attachment, it's just device to device. On mobile, it's even easier. I open a photo, I tap Share, I choose NordVPN from the menu, boom, file sent. I thought this was a gimmick at first, but after like a few weeks, I actually started relying on it more and more and started relying less and less on my cloud storage because I felt the files were just more under my control. Now, before you get too excited about MeshNet, you should know it's had a bit of a, let's call it wild ride. NordVPN launched it back in 2022, completely free for everyone. Then out of nowhere in August 2025, they announced they were killing it off. And December 1st would be the end date. I was honestly pretty annoyed when I heard that. But the community went absolutely nuts. Reddit exploded. And people threatened to cancel their subscriptions. And you know what? NordVPN actually listened. Wow. Just a month later in September, they reversed the decision. MeshNet's probably not going to go anywhere. And they're even making it open source now. So this whole saga actually tells you something important about NordVPN. They respond to user feedback. They admit when they make mistakes. And that kind of responsiveness is rare in tech communities. So yeah, MeshNet survived because users actually cared enough to fight for it. And honestly, after using it for weeks, I totally get why people were so upset at the thought of losing it. So who has the better feature set overall? In my opinion, definitely NordVPN. MeshNet is genuinely useful. The kill switch options are really unmatched. And critically, their malware site blocking actually works. And Surfshark's protection is just inferior. Yes, I mean, Surfshark has unlimited connections. And technically, yes, it has better multi-hop. But I'd rather have security features that actually function. Now I know the question you probably have is, which one is faster, NordVPN or Surfshark? And my speed testing revealed something crucial. Consistency matters more than peak performance, and NordVPN delivered predictable speeds. Surfshark was essentially all over the place. And here's my setup. I have 300 megabits per second down and 100 megabits per second up. The baseline without the VPN was 290 to 293 megabits download and 94 megabits per second upload. Around 2 to 3 milliseconds ping, so anything what you would expect from a solid internet connection, right? That I use here to work and to stream and to do all the things that we're doing here, right? NordVPN first. Now I connected to a nearby server, then I ran the test. I got 282 megabits per second download and 90 megabits per second upload. 10 milliseconds ping. That's 96% of my baseline. It's barely any slowdown. It's nothing that you could feel on a daily basis. Then, when I connected across the globe, it's essentially a different continent. Downloads dropped to 243 megabits per second, and the ping jumped to 115 milliseconds. And upload crawled to less than 1 megabits per second. And yeah, that upload, it tanked. But downloads staying above 240 is still pretty impressive for making this huge jump. Here's what mattered. Every NordVPN server performed within the expected range. Nearby servers were fast, and distant servers were slower but usable, and no surprise, right? No inexplicable, terrible connections, and that's essentially what you want when you're looking at a VPN. Now, Surfshark, frustrated. On an equally nearby server, I got 280 megabits per second download and 85 megabits per second upload, 6 millisecond ping. Slightly faster than NordVPN, right? Right? Wrong. Only that server performed this well. I tested other nearby countries, and the upload dropped below 3 megabits per second. Ping jumped above 40 milliseconds, and this made my testing 0 sense. I mean, these servers, they should perform similarly, but, well, they don't. And with the distant server test, Surfshark gave me 250 megabits per second download and 1.2 megabits per second upload, 125 milliseconds ping, which is marginally better than NordVPN on downloads. Slightly worse on latency, equally terrible on uploads. So, well, who's the winner on speed? I mean, you can probably guess it already, right? It's NordVPN, and consistency is everything in VPN performance. Surfshark might occasionally give you better speeds, but those inexplicably slow nearby servers, that's unacceptable. I don't want to hunt for the fastest server out there. I just want to connect and be done with it. And this could easily change though. Now, in the years I've been doing daily speed tests of VPNs, I mean, the top contenders, they change constantly. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest performance results and basically everything else tech related, consider signing up to our newsletter with the link below in the description. Thank you very much. Obviously, you can opt out anytime. There is no spam, just pure information. Okay, I'm really giving this one to Surfshark. No way around it. Their interface, it is just better. I mean, let's take a look at the desktop apps here, right? Surfshark's installation was outstanding. Download the app, log in, done. No complicated setup, no hunting for weird activation codes. And I know this is subjective, but the interface is gorgeous. I mean, the buttons are big, the text is legible, and look how effortless the server selection is. I simply click a country, and it immediately starts connecting. Even shows a percentage bar if it takes a few seconds, so I always know where I'm at when I connect to a server. Countries with multiple servers have a visible drop-down arrow. Everything, it just works. The only downside is you can't really resize the application window. And hey, Surfshark, well, no one else does this, so what's going on? Okay, now let's look at NordVPN. The homepage of the app is a little bit cluttered and overwhelming. I mean, you're immediately hit with too much information. When I boot up my VPN, chances are I kind of want a VPN, right? And instead of putting the server list front and center like Surfshark, Nord dedicates most of its real estate to other stuff. It feels like they couldn't really figure out a good layout, so they just crammed like random stuff in it. And I mean, just look at how threat protection and dark web monitoring takes up is it 60% of this page? I don't know, right? But it's big. But my biggest gripe with NordVPN's interface is definitely the server selection. The server list is essentially shoved into the corner like some unwanted stepchild, and you have to manually hunt down alternative servers by hovering over each country like this. Just why? Anyway, disconnecting is just as annoying. Instead of just giving me a proper disconnect button, I have to click pause like this, and then scroll down essentially to disconnect or choose the minutes I want to disconnect, right? Did no one teach the UX designers at Nord that fewer clicks is actually the better decision? Anyway, the login process also really frustrated me, right? Authentication happens through your browser and it doesn't happen through the app. So it's not the biggest deal, and you can see this more and more often with applications, right? They want to authenticate you through the browser, but really annoying if you're like me and use a lot of different browsers and a lot of different devices. So it just adds another layer of complexity and time that I'm not willing to add. It's not all bad for Nord here though. The settings and the menu itself is pretty well organized. The kill switch and the split tunneling, they get separate tabs with detailed configurations, and every feature has explanatory text. But you have to get past that initial homepage first, essentially. On mobile, it's a similar story. Surfshark wastes no time putting the server list in front of your face. But NordVPN, I instead get this annoying map where I can barely even zoom in or out. The first time I used it years ago, it actually took me a minute to realize I had to swipe up from the bottom to get the actual list. So the winner here, I mean, you probably guessed it again, it is Surfshark by a mile. If you're probably, I would say 90% of the people, the reason you're looking for a VPN is streaming. And speaking of 90% of people, that's how many of you are watching without being subscribed. Actually, it's a little more than that, but I wanted to use that segue. I mean, jokes aside. If you find this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and let YouTube know you enjoyed the content. Anyway, let's talk about streaming, right? Because this is what you're here for, I get it. This round isn't even close. NordVPN really demolished Surfshark in streaming compatibility. Let me show you what happened. I connected to a US server with NordVPN like this. Then I opened Netflix, and as you can see, the US library loaded instantly. And I don't know if you know this, but you can access Netflix through different countries and obviously VPN servers, and it will unlock certain movies and streaming shows. The US generally has a very big catalog, so I tend to really connect to the US when I want to watch certain TV shows or series. And there was literally no lag. There was no stuttering. There was no Netflix error message showing me I'm using a VPN or proxy and I cannot connect. And I even skipped around the timeline like this to try to really trip the VPN connection a little bit, but still perfect. There was no buffering. It was all fast and smooth. Same deal for essentially all the other major streaming services. Connected to the VPN, I opened the site. It worked perfectly. I used BBC iPlayer. I streamed NordVPN with Hulu and HBO, you name it. I can even stream HBO. I'm not located in the US, right? I connect to a US server, but I can still stream HBO and Max and get all my favorite series there. They all loaded immediately, and there was never an error saying, oh, you cannot access this streaming site because you are using a VPN or a proxy. So extremely, extremely good performance here on NordVPN sites. Okay, then we gotta talk about Surfshark. At first, it looks pretty good. It successfully unblocks Max, BBC iPlayer, Peacock, Paramount Plus, and obviously YouTube regional content. The services that worked performed also flawlessly, and no stuttering, great quality, no buffering, nothing that would impede my enjoyment of the TV series. But here's where Surfshark completely fell apart. Disney Plus wouldn't even so much as open. Just look at this. I connected to the VPN to a country that obviously Disney Plus supports, and I tried to load Disney Plus, but it just refused. Even trying different servers, it just wouldn't load. And Hulu got to this confirmation code screen, but it just wouldn't complete the login. It just stopped right here. I couldn't get the authenticator to work for Prime Video either. So a couple platforms here that have a few failures, and these failures could be massive if you just want to watch that show, or if you're on holiday and you want to access your Amazon Prime account and you just can't because, well, it's apparently not working. And let's be honest, most people are buying VPNs for streaming, be it legal streaming or illegal streaming. Not that you're doing this, but just saying. Which makes Surfshark's inability to unblock major services like a serious problem. The winner here, well, obviously NordVPN. Besides streaming, some, call it paranoid nerds like me, actually care more about the security and the privacy that a VPN brings. And this is where NordVPN's advantages become pretty much undeniable. Both services are secure, but NordVPN's commitment to independent verification puts them in a different league of its own. I started my security testing with Wireshark, and let me show you what I did. I connected to both VPNs and captured packets while browsing. And this lets me actually check if traffic was properly encrypted and look for anything leaking through. Both passed with no leaks detected. Both established secure tunnels correctly. And looking at the privacy policies, both collect similar data. I'm talking about basic anonymized usage statistics like session timestamps, enabled features, stuff like that, right? Both have a strict no logs policy and rely extensively on RAM-only servers. But here's where I started to notice a difference. VPN protocols. NordVPN offers OpenVPN, WireGuard, NordLynx, NordWhisper, multiple options with proprietary modifications. And on desktop, Surfshark offers just OpenVPN and WireGuard. On mobile, they throw in ICAF v2 as well. And don't get me wrong, I mean, these are solid protocols. And I do appreciate the simplicity, but compared to NordVPN, it feels a bit sparse. So far, so good for both of them, right? But here's where NordVPN separates itself. Audit frequency. NordVPN has undergone 5 audits in their history. Most recently, end of 2024, Deloitte Lithuania verified their IT systems infrastructure and their no-logs claims. They had 5 audits in 2024 alone, and Surfshark has audits, but they're less frequent. Deloitte audited their no-logs policy in 2023 and 2025. SecuRing did a security audit in 2025. Good so far. But Their server infrastructure was last audited by Cure53 in 2021. That's 4 years ago. So their browser extension hasn't been audited since 2018. And then those gaps are concerning when you're like trusting a service with essentially all your internet traffic, right? So who's the winner here? Well, neither service is bad by any means, but I have to give it to NordVPN for their commitment to frequent audits. All right, finally, we get to the nitty-gritty. We get to price because, I mean, who needs another pricey monthly subscription at this point, right? Look, this is where Surfshark just wins, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. But before I do, let me just remind you that you can use the links in the description box below to get the best deals out there for either VPN. I keep these links updated with the latest promotions and also custom discounts for cloudwords.net we negotiate specifically for our viewers. And after years in this space, we've built relationships that let us secure better deals than you'll find elsewhere. And now let's start with the obvious. Unlimited simultaneous connections. NordVPN caps you at 10. Now, some reviewers will tell you unlimited doesn't matter because who uses that many devices anyway? But here's the thing. The average American household now has 17 internet-connected devices. And personally, we use way more than 10 devices in our house. I mean, 2 phones, my personal laptop, my work laptop, my tablet, my smart TV, my router, gaming consoles, and then multiply that by 2 to cover my partner's devices. And it adds up really fast. And with Surfshark, I never have to disconnect any one device to connect another. I never have to choose. I just connect everything and just forget about it. Now, to be fair, you can always connect your router directly to NordVPN to get around this issue. I've talked about this previously in this video, right? So unlimited connections alone wouldn't make Surfshark the winner if the price wasn't good. In the US, NordVPN runs you about, let's say, $3 per month on the 2-year plan, and Surfshark, it's about $2 per month with the same commitment. And that's, 33% savings. It's not insignificant when we're talking about a subscription you're paying for essentially years. So you're getting unlimited devices for essentially a lot less money. Both have 30-day money-back guarantees, which I tested myself, and both processed without any hassle. So the value winner here, like I said, it's Surfshark. You're paying a lot less money and you're getting unlimited connections. It's, for me, simple math. All right, now I know I've talked a lot, but it's time for the final verdict, right? And after weeks of intensive testing, I've been using these services for years, by the way, but my testing window for this to make this review was probably a couple of weeks to put everything together. And I have also my team who helped me with the data collection and analysis. So NordVPN wins this NordVPN versus Surfshark comparison review for most users. The consistent performance, the verified security practices, reliable streaming access, my Sunday's rescued, right? Functional security features. And these completely outweigh Surfshark's advantages in interface design and unlimited connections. But your mileage may obviously vary. This is my mileage and this is my opinion. So I hope I could help you with that and guide you in the right direction. So my advice. All right, choose NordVPN if you want the most frequently audited VPN and you care about security and streaming. Verified security claims, well, you can actually trust. MeshNet functionality for secure file sharing between your devices. Yes, it's a specialty use case, but maybe it's something for you. Now, consistent, predictable performance for streaming. Yes, I love it. So thank you, NordVPN, for giving me access to all the Netflix libraries I ever could wish for. Now, on the other hand, choose Surfshark if you're really on a tight budget, or you need to connect unlimited devices and you don't want to fiddle with your router settings, right? Let me know in the comments if you use either service and what do you like about it. And yeah, thanks for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, remember.